Okay, we are back here. Hi again. Let's go back here. Da-da-da. Play the little intermission music if needed, and then we will get going. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's see. I think that we should be back in better internet. So if you're watching recorded later and you're like, I don't know what the problem was, rest assured it was a little messy live. But if you are watching live, then hopefully you're finding this new video and we will continue on with our technique. So back to our stamping. Here we go. All right, so we've got our thermos stamped here, and then we're gonna go ahead and take, this is Calypso Coral, and now I'm gonna add Petal Pink for our lighter color here, and I'm gonna go ahead and stamp this in the space. So now you have those lines there, and you can kind of turn your stamp just a little bit, get it lined up, and then stamp into the open box, okay? The other thing you can do, and sometimes it's easier, is to stamp your inside, stamp your fill first, and then go back and stamp the outline. But in this case, I really think for this particular one, I had an easier time. Well, actually, they both turned out okay. But I had an easier time outline first, inside side. So, all right. So then that we're going to cut out and we will add to our project. But let's go ahead and pull in our cardstock. So for my card base, I have a piece of basic white cardstock. Hey, Joan, I'm glad you found us. A basic white cardstock. And what I'm going to do with this is always going to score it. I'm always going to score the thick cardstock because if you don't score it, you can end up with some cracking along the spine fold of your card. So remember, when you're using thick cardstock, that is a really good idea. Now, that being said, I'm going to open it up again and lay it flat so that it doesn't move as much while I'm working with it. And now I have a piece of just regular typing paper, and I'm going to go ahead and tear the top of this. You can use cardstock for this. Sometimes it's a little bit easier. But either way, I kind of want to add just a little bit of interest in there so it's not just straight, just totally straight across. And then here is the crease of our card. I want to make sure I know where that is so that I can get my mask here pretty nice and close. And you can decide how you want to angle that or not. Now, one thing that can help and make your life a little bit easier is to take a piece of washi tape and just tape this onto the card here at the bottom. You don't want to tape it up here because that will mess up your mask. And, oh, yay, Kathy found me. That will mess up your mask. So you want to put the tape at the bottom where it's plenty out of the way. And then you will have your mask sort of held in place for a better blending brush experience. So let's pull in some blending brushes, and you can see here the colors that I'm going to use. I have a blue for, why don't I not have a blue ink pad? I don't have a blue ink pad because I probably put it away. So let's grab that. I think Pool Party here is what I have been using. So I have Pool Party, I have Parakeet Party, gosh, we're all about the parties, Calypso Coral, and Petal Pink. Nope, that's not the right colors. Calypso Coral, and I need a yellow. So I think we're gonna go with Daffodil Delight. So there we go. All right, now we have our colors. So we're gonna go ahead and start. I like to use one blending brush for each color. Hi again, Carol. And we are, somebody asked me the other day if you can wash these. The answer to that is yes, of course you definitely can. You can just put them, in your sink and use just a little bit of, Dawn or Joy or whatever dish soap you use. But the thing is that they can take a very long time to dry, like a day or a couple days. And so you want to make sure that you let them get really dry before you start using them again, or you're going to end up with some sort of weird splotchiness and they won't work quite the way you want. That being said, I usually do not wash mine. I have sort of a collection of them, and I use one for each sort of vague color. So one for reds and oranges, one for yellows, one for greens, one for blues. And then, of course, you can store them in, this does not turn sideways well, but here we go. Oh, I guess my hand's in the way. Anyway, you can store them in the blending brush storage, and the handles go down into these little grooves, and then you can set that on your table, and they all stand up nicely, except when you turn them sideways to show them on a video. All right, so let's go ahead here. I'm gonna start with the lightest color, so I'm gonna grab my Daffodil Delight. And when you use your blending brushes, 101 is make sure that it's pretty clean first. So I just run it out of my scratch paper. And then I pick up ink by swirling. And you can test on your cardstock or on your background paper, but you're gonna find that you're gonna swirl to pick up ink, and then you're gonna swirl onto your card. And after all that talking, I totally masked my card backwards. So let's reverse this. Nobody's gonna tell me. So what I'm doing is I am looking for the line of my, I did spend, in my defense, like 14 hours on a bus yesterday coming home from Atlanta, so. All right, so the line of the card is here, and my mask is gonna go down just below it, which means my color is gonna go in this space, okay? And then I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do at the bottom so it doesn't matter that our color doesn't have a neat edge there. So you could also additionally mask the bottom. When you start your blending brush, you want to start off your project on the scrap paper and then bring your brush down onto your project. And the reason you want to do that is because when you first tap your brush down, it's going to have a tendency to leave a splotch of ink. And you want that splotchiness to be on the scrap, not on your paper. Can you see how that's those splotches for those 3 times that I've set that down? Now, if you're looking at this, you're like, Meg, that's what mine looks like. It's always so uneven. The key to that is to keep adding color. So basically you keep layering the color. You can always add more. It's extremely difficult to take it off, but you can always add more color to your project. So just keep blending and layering until everything is pretty uniform and the color saturation that you want. Okay, I'm gonna do just a little bit more up here. All right, so now we have our first color done. I'm gonna go with another adjacent color, and we're gonna do, I think blue here is next to it. So I'm gonna grab my Pool Party, and same thing here. I'm gonna use my Pool Party blending brush. Again, just check it to make sure it's cleanish, and then swirl to pick up color, swirl to add color. Swirl to pick up, swirl to add. And again, always start on your scrap and come down onto your project. So if you're getting too much color at the top, then just, move down faster to the bottom. You see how that works? And you also want to make sure that you are going over the adjacent colors so that you get a transition between those two so that they're not just totally discrete. You want to have some nice blend in there. All right, so I've got some good Pool Party on there. Let's go ahead and add some Parakeet, and I'm going to put my Parakeet on this side. First, check your blending brush, swirl to pick up color, add to your project. And when you're using a paper mask, you're gonna wanna be a little bit careful here, especially towards the edge, that you aren't going to peel up the edge of your mask here. So you don't wanna go up necessarily onto the mask because you want that color to swipe down so that you're not messing with this neat edge here, because here's sneak peek. This is kind of what it's looking like here at the top of our card. We're gonna have this really gorgeous color. So again, go back and forth. We're not worrying too much about the bottom. Get everything blended into its adjacent color friend. And then we have our last one here, which is Calypso Coral. Got that one set, swirl to pick up color. Now I can show you a good example here with my daffodil pad in a second. When you've been picking up ink, the blending brushes really love to suck ink up. They are very happy to help you pick ink off the pad and transfer it to your paper. And sometimes they can pick up ink so well that you end up with a little spot in your ink pad that seems to be free of ink or very light on ink. And so that will look like, here you can see this one where I've re-inked my daffodil, and then this is the center where I picked up ink. So what this is saying to me is, hey Meg, you might wanna either redistribute this. Sometimes you can use like a spare clear block to squish the ink back and forth, or you might just wanna re-ink this. Because if I use a stamp to pick up, I'm gonna get a lot of nice ink here, but in this area, I'm gonna be short, so. All right, so now we have a really nice color spectrum across there. Here is that fun blend. I might actually put just a little bit more right here with my Calypso so that I can have that be a little more consistent. There we go. Now, before I take my mask off, we're going to bring back in, remember I said those little tiny images from Warmest Hearts are handy to add here. I'm gonna pull these in, and instead of using Memento Black or Basic Black, the tuxedo black for this. I love basic gray as a neutral color. And so I'm going to pull basic gray, and I'm going to stamp where we have just done our masking. So I'm going to add in some sunshines and then rainbows, because really, sunshine and rainbows, right? It's a pretty happy deal. I'm going to make sure that some of my images go off the edge of my card, and I'm going to make sure that some of the images go off the edge of my masking area, so that I have just a nice complete feel here, where it feels like I've just sort of cut this piece out of a larger sheet, not like, you know, marching everything all in a line, which is what we did last week in the Peach Bowl stuff. Anyway, so here is our piece, and now when I've got it set, I can go ahead and take my mask off. Now, I mentioned that I want to go ahead and put a border at the bottom. You can leave this kind of pretty, like, sort of falling off of color here. Hey, Taryn, thanks. And you have just a really cool effect there, but I kind of like it to be a little bit neat, because this part right here is my really interesting effect. So I have a strip of Pool Party cardstock, which is going to be matching the color tone of our shading here. And then we're going to go ahead and put this across here. This is a great chance to put in something with a little texture though. So I have 2 retiring embossing folders. These are the cherry patterns. And again, today and tomorrow is last chance to get these. And I'm going to use these bubbles. I just think they're really fun, and they sort of recollect the shape of that sun. And here's what the patterns really look like there. And the piece here is going to fit very nicely into our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, these are the regular size folders. They're the thin folders. So you can use these in the mini machine. They are the same width as our cutting plates, so that is a great thing. But I have one that is already cut here. Oops, well, I did. Maybe I'll have to do it again. I had a paper that was already embossed through the magic of television. Oh, there it is. Haha. Through the magic of television, we have one that's already circle embossed. So here are our circles. And then we do, though, need to grab our piece here and go ahead and do our quick cutting on our thermos. So remember, the plates come with the directions already on them for this mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I'm going to grab a piece of washi tape because I love it for holding down dies exactly where I want them. That way there's no jumping, there's no shifting. They go exactly where they're supposed to. And so I'm going to grab, oh, and my die already has tape on it. So these are the dies that coordinate with a thermos. You can cut out all the cute little images if you want to. This is like the little holder thing that hangs down from the piece. There's these little labels that you can use. And some of the greetings for these fit on the labels. You can use the get well soon there, for example, on the labels. And then we have these patterns that you can have for like die cut shapes if you want to skip the stamping part for this altogether. So thermos on our stamped image here. Use a little bit of washi tape there at the edge. Save that one for later and pop this in. With the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, remember you don't want to line your plates up at the end. I really like to have my top plate go in first with a little like delay on the second, just because it's easier for the machine to grab and get started. When you try and pile everything up all at the beginning to go through, it's kind of like, wait, that's a really big bite. So then we have our die cut here. So there we go. All right, so let's pop this here on our card. I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue for adding this strip. When I have an embossed layer with a lot of texture up and down, I really like using this glue because it has the tendency to hold everything securely, even if it is not, even if the paper is got a lot of texture, so you don't really have a lot of direct contact. Okay, that was a lot of glue there, Meg. So you guys have New Year's resolutions. Do they include crafting? If you have a resolution to craft and use the stamps that you have, this is good news because this is a card that you can make with any stamp set, pretty much. You're just going to modify just what you put here over the edge as your focal point. So we have created this really fun background, and then we are going to go ahead and take our feature element here and pop it on the side. And so we'll use Stampin' Dimensionals for that. So if you had a floral set, or you had a polar bear set, or you had a, I don't know, we have some really fun ones right now. But the tool set that's coming, an astronaut, all kinds of possibilities, right? And then that image is going to go here on the right side of our card. So we have sort of this horizontal background. We have this focal point here, and then we're going to add a little greeting right across the center, and then we're going to add a little embellishment. So for this, I have a strip of Calypso Coral cardstock, because remember, you want to repeat colors. So I've got Calypso Coral here, I've got Calypso Coral here, Calypso Coral here, and I'm going to use my basic gray again as my neutral. So sometimes it's fun to play with something that's just not black and white for our neutrals and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. Photopolymer stamps are great because you can see right through them and get things as straight as you like. Hey, Pam. And we're going to go ahead and clip the end of that. So we have our greeting, you warm my heart. You guys know that I am a sucker for a pen. And we're going to take this and pop it here on our card with a couple Stampin' Dimensionals. So let's go right across here. And I'm going to overlay that line. So we have this strong horizontal line from our pool party. And so I'm going to overlay that line here with our horizontal greeting area. So we have this, but we need more on here for certain, just to kind of dress it up. And since there's a lot going in the background, you guys know I always like to strengthen my focal point, just so your eye doesn't get distracted. It knows exactly where you want it to look. And so I'm going to take a piece of this Calypso Coral trim here. This is also retiring, and I will miss it greatly because it's just nice and soft and easy to work with. Oh, Sue, don't worry, the bling is coming. I have bling for this card. I know I haven't used it as much lately, so just wait though. And with the new book too that starts on January 4th, there is lots of fresh bling, so look for that to be coming. Oh, and speaking of that, coming up on January 4th with the new book is a whole new series of designer series paper, a whole new set. And so I will have a paper share that I will post later today or tomorrow. And you will be able to sign up to get pieces of all of that designer series paper and the associated cardstock to go with it for just easy card making. I've had so many people reach out about the paper share, and yes, it is coming. And yes, I'm so glad you're excited about it. So thank you guys for that. So watch for details about that to be posted too soon. All right, so I'm going to pop that bow right up there to get that little piece started. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull some bling just for you, Sue. Oh, I have mail call to show you guys too. So we have these iridescent adhesive back discs. These are them. There's also, I think the last color is green, right? But I've apparently used all those since we're getting near the end here. And I am going to pop a couple of these on here just right around our focal point again, because I love using some bling or some ribbon or some kind of embellishment to just strengthen our focal point. So I'm going to go ahead and pop a couple up, one up above and a couple down below. So we have that little spread of 3 that kind of pushes your eye across here. So your eye unconsciously, or maybe consciously if you're paying attention, but unconsciously your eye really follows the lines that are on a card. So your eye wants to follow this line, your eye wants to follow the line of the Calypso, and then your eye wants to follow that sort of trajectory there of the bling that goes with it. So just adds a little bit of extra there. All right. So that is our You Warm My Heart card. I have one that has a little bit more muted colors. This one, I think I use Wild Wheat instead of Daffodil Delight. So I don't know, what do you guys, Wild Wheat or Daffodil Delight? Do you like the bright, or do you like the a little bit more subtle colors to go with it? I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm really partial to Wild Wheat. It's one of my favorite colors. I like this muted colors, but I'm good for bright. And today is a shiny day, so shiny. Today is a bright and sunny day, so I am always happy for the bright colors. Oh, good. Yay, I have a taker for Wild Wheat. Thanks, Sue. All right, I'm going to close up some ink pads, and then we're going to do some mail call here. And so I have a whole bunch of fun cards that were sent to me, and I love sharing everyone's creativity. So this first one is from my friend Shalou, and she did this fun polar bear card. I will tell you this card, of course, it looks very familiar to me. I love getting cards in the mail that look so familiar because I love knowing that people are enjoying the designs that we do together. So yay, Taryn. Okay. And Joan, I'm good with Bright too. Joan and Nikki. And then here is another cute card. This is from my friend Kathy, and she used strips of designer paper across here, and then just a really cute centered design here with the circles and layering and so forth. And really, like, there's a lot going on in the background, but like we just talked about with our focal point, the circles really draw your eye right there to the center and the cute little deer. All right, our next card's a photo card from my friend Cindy, and this is a really cute picture from her, and then this just fun embellishment across here. And I love this piece right here with a light bulb. And then these are actually the cards from the holiday catalog, I think. Anyway, the cards come, or they might be from the big book. But remember to look at the cards that are in the catalog. They come cards and envelopes together, which is kind of a fun bonus. And the nice thing about that is that they're already decorated for you, and it's really easy to add a fun kind of panel to it. So really cute. I love seeing them. Hi, Cindy. All right, then this card is from my friend Penny, and she used this fun die cut Santa from a few years ago. I love this guy. And then some shimmering, I totally am like drawing a blank. What's the shimmery stuff in the brush called? It's called Wink of Stella. There we go. Wink of Stella. And cute on the Santa pieces. Here is a gorgeous card from Tammy. She used a watercolor technique to make these extra panels in the background, and then did this sort of triple repeat. This is from a winter mini catalog stamp set. This card is very fancy from my friend Pat. And so she made this fun layered piece, and you have to watch. It's a card that moved, and it is a gift card holder. So this is super darling, Pat. I love it. And of course, thank you for the Starbucks card. That goes a long way in our house. We are kind of big Starbucks fans. But if you're curious about this card, it's a folding panel. And so you can kind of look at this and see. I don't have a measuring device handy. But basically, it's a triple panel that goes across here. If I had to guess, I would guess this is about 3x4. So then it's just 3 pieces and scored in the middle, and then use a circle punch or die to add those fun little divots there on your third panel. So, and I love the way it unfolds. Isn't that cute? So clever. That's a great card. Thank you, ma'am. And then I have a darling Christmas tree from Julie, and I love this merriest trees. And then you guys know me and our love of music here in my household. So very cute with the music notes in the background and these stars. So don't miss out on merriest trees, also retiring and about to be gone. So very, very pretty card. And the last one is a designer series paper feature from Carol. And I love the way she used these 3 pieces here. So this sort of horizontal line, and then a vertical strip in the center, and a little ribbon. So not super dissimilar from the card that we did this morning. So thanks, Carol. All right. Well, I think that covers us for today's card. But remember to watch for Designer Series Paper Share. I will post it in blog and send out an email newsletter, and it will be on Facebook. So if you want to sign up for that, you can do that. And again, it'll be the kind where you get all the papers and you get the cardstock card bases to match. So it makes it really easy to just pull that Designer Series paper out and make cards, because that's what we want to do. Spend our time making cards, not looking for things that coordinate. And then there will also be an element to add if you want sort of the best value version of the swap or the share. The best value version of the share will include the embellishments and all kinds of new rhinestones and bling and so forth. And you get a sampling of those also. And if you get the best value version, then you also get a sampling of the celebration goodies, so of papers from the celebration goodies. So make sure you watch for that one. Anything else I need to share? Yes, I'll be back on Thursday for the January 4th edition of Maker Mornings with Meg. That will kick off our 4th season of Maker Mornings with Meg with our 424th episode or something like that. And then we will also have a new catalog premiere party together, and that will be Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. And that is where I will have a number of cards to just go through with you and show you all some card ideas, and we'll kind of walk through the new book together, and I'll show you some of my favorite things and the stuff that I think you're going to want to watch out for. Remember that celebration begins on the 4th also with 2 big specials. One is that if you are ordering supplies for every $50, you get a free item from the little celebration mini catalog, which you'll have to use your imagination for. And then the second is that there is that special coming with a glass mat, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, and the silicone mat that comes with it, and the cleaning cloth and so forth. So kind of a fun thing coming on that. And that will be, if you are interested in getting the demonstrator starter kit, then that is a bonus that you can add, or you can add an extra $30 to your kit instead. So you can look for more information about that on my website about joining my team. And Pepper's like, I really want to go outside. With all of that, I will see you again on Thursday 2 times. And then we will have a new book. So do not miss out on things like Warmest Heart. This is going away and will disappear. On the 3rd is its last day, because then it goes away to make room for the new things coming on January 4th. All right, everyone, I hope you had a super fabulous holiday season. Happy New Year to you and your family and your friends. And I will see you on Thursday for another Maker Mornings with Meg. So happy stamping, everybody.